praise for Tamil Thai Varthu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்த கிளிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you, girls. Honored dignitaries, English fraternities from various colleges and respected colleagues, it brings me great joy to extend a warm welcome to our AI workshop, partially sponsored by Jamboree, where we delve into the multifaceted applications of AI tools for teaching, testing, and research. We believe your collective expertise will undoubtedly contribute to the success of our shared exploration in this dynamic field. Creating a welcoming culture is not just about hospitality. It's about fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion where everyone feels valued and respected. I would like to request Dr. V. Valinayagam Sir, Dean, Student Affairs, St. Joseph's College of Engineering, to deliver the welcome address.
Respected Principal Sir, Chief Guest, HOD, Controller of Examinations, Conveners, Co-Conveners, and my dear faculty participants and students. Good morning. Say good morning. Thank you. So it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you all on behalf of St. Joseph's College of Engineering for this wonderful event, workshop, 2 days workshop on using AI in writing, testing and research. I extend my hearty welcome to our esteemed principal, Dr. Vati Seshagiri Rao sir, and resource persons, Mr. Dr. Janneker, Lawerence, Daniel, Assistant Professor, St. John's College, Palayam Gotai, who have agreed to come. We welcome you, sir. And also Dr. Harishchander, from Assistant Professor from Amrita Vidya Vidyabidam, Coimbatore, who has joined in online. Welcome, sir. I am delighted to welcome all the student participants, faculty participants and research scholars for this wonderful event. I am very much pleased to welcome the convener, Dean of Research, Dr. Chandrasekhar, Controller of Examination, Dr. Anandaram, and HOD, Dr. G. Meena Devi, and also convener of this program, and co-convener, Dr. Venkateshwara, and my dear fellow colleagues. So, this workshop aims to provide the required necessary knowledge and skills to harness the power of AI in their respective fields. So, everyone, the people who have joined today, I am sure the knowledge you are going to gain here will stand you in good stead. At this moment, I would like to congratulate the Department of English for using this opportunity and getting permission from our management to conduct this event. I would like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to our beloved Chairman, Sir, Dr. Babu Manogaran, Sir, and Managing Director, Dr. Sasi Shekhar, Sir, and Madam Executive Director, J.C. Priya, Ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to this workshop. So once again, I welcome you all to this exciting event. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed motivating and informative. Next, I would like to call upon our respected principal, Dr. Vadi Seshagri Rao, sir, the leader whose dedication and vision drive our engineering college towards excellence, inspiring us to new horizons of academic achievement and innovation, to deliver the inaugural address.
Respected Chief Guest, Dr. S. Janneker, Lawerence Daniel, sir, deans, colleagues, staff members of different colleges who have come for participation, my dear students, good morning. So, a new era is going to start in every field. In all fields, new technologies are emerging. And especially, this in teaching and learning, AI, artificial intelligence, it has come to a maximum extent now, because learning process changed and teaching process also going to change. For example, I'll tell you now, people are not comfortable in writing the content. That's why in Zoho company, many companies, Zoho company, they are giving more salary for content writing. People are ready to do some project. Project can be executed without any problem. And of course, even in executing problem also, this AI has come into picture. Earlier, they used to write down each and every line as a code, and then they will test the, that software. Now it's not like that. Even without writing code, everything we can take it from AI. And we'll assemble that one, and we'll make that as a one software. So same way, in teaching, learning process, the AI is playing a vital role. For example, if you want to write down a poem, give five words. Okay, you ask to write a 4-line, poem. Put in Chat GPT. It will give a nice content and 4 or 5 words, whichever you want inside. It will give a poem. Okay, so likewise, it has new technologies have come. Maybe because of this one, even we also not able to nowadays, while typing on laptop or by cell, we have lost the connection with spellings, because auto correction has come. Okay, so likewise, many inventions are coming. So definitely this 2 days workshop will be much useful in learning the new techniques, especially AI techniques in teaching, learning and testing. So we have arranged the various schedules. We have scheduled various guest lectures. Many people are coming online, and some are physically they are coming and delivering lecture. So definitely this 2 days workshop will be useful, and it will give an initiation for you to think how best we can use the artificial intelligence in learning process and in teaching process. Okay, best wishes, all the best.
Thank you, sir, for your invaluable insights. Today's events are indeed remarkable, as we have resource persons who have found time to be with us despite their busy schedules. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Sarayu Priyadashini, Assistant Professor of English, to introduce our resource person, Dr. Harishchander Anandaram.
Good morning to one and all present here. It's my immense pleasure to introduce the resource person of the day. Dr. Harishchander Anandaram is a highly accomplished academic and researcher in the field of bioinformatics and bioengineering. He embarked on his academic journey by pursuing his passion for science, earning a BTech in bioinformatics, followed by MTech in the same field from Satyabama University. His thirst for knowledge and research led him to pursue a PhD in bioengineering from Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology. During his doctoral studies, Dr. Anandaram made significant contributions to the field, publishing 7 papers in Scopus indexed journals. His research focused on cutting-edge topics within bioengineering, showcasing his dedication and expertise in the field. Dr. Anandaram's academic journey seamlessly transitioned into a distinguished career in academia. He began as a research scholar at Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology, where he laid the foundation for his research career. He then served as a technical assistant in the prestigious Indo-US TB project at JIPMER, Pondicherry, further honing his skills in research and academia. His career trajectory saw him take on roles of increasing responsibility and impact. He served as a research associate at the Institute of Life Sciences, Bhubaneswar. After that, he became assistant professor in the bioinformatics department at Sri Krishna Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. His expertise and passion for teaching and research were further recognized when he held the role for assistant professor at the Center for Excellence in Computational Engineering and Networking at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore, where he continues to inspire and mentor students. Dr. Anandaram's contributions extend beyond the confines of academia. He has received numerous awards and honors for his outstanding achievements and contributions to the field of bioinformatics and bioengineering. His accolades include the Agar Educator Award, Inspiring Educator Award, and Extraordinary Changemaker Award, Young Investigator Award, Young Scientist Award, Distinguished Professor Award, among many others. These accolades not only recognize his academic excellence, but also his commitment to innovation and leadership in his field. In addition to his teaching and research endeavors, Dr. Anandaram is actively involved in various editorial and reviewing activities for prestigious journals and conferences. He serves as an editorial board member for several journals, including Sustainable Economics, Machine Learning in Engineering and Technology, and Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. His expertise as a reviewer and evaluator is highly sought after reflecting his standing as a respected authority in his field. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Dr. Anandaram is dedicated to mentoring the next generation of researchers and scientists. He has served as a mentor for various programs and initiatives, providing guidance and support to aspiring scholars. His passion for education and mentorship is evident in his continuous efforts to empower and inspire students in their academic and research pursuits. Finally, I would like to thank him for accepting the proposal, and I also thank the management for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot for the detailed introduction. And I would like to thank Venkateshwaran sir and the management of St. Joseph's College for giving me an opportunity to share my views on AI and its application in the technical aspects. Thanks a lot. And with the kind approval of the dignitaries, I may begin the session. Thank you.
Is my voice clear? Am I audible?
Yes, Professor, you are audible, Professor. Give us just a minute to project it. We are waiting for the projection. Give us just a minute.
Okay, sir, fine. Yeah, once it is done, please let me know, sir. I'll share my screen and.
Thank you, Professor. It'll be done in a minute. We'll do that, Professor.
Hmm.
Check. Professor, I'm handing over the mic to our principal, Dr. Vadisha
Okay, sure,
Rao.
sir.
You can interact with the principal. I'm just handing it over to.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Hello, namaste, sir. Welcome for this
Namaste,
online
sir.
session, sir. So,
Well, thanks a lot, sir.
so after
Thanks for the
seeing
opportunity.
your biodata, I was very much happy and excited to listen to you. We are very much all of
Well,
us. We are very eagerly waiting to listen to you and your experience,
well,
rich
to be
experience in
frank,
a
with
nutshell.
God's grace,
Please kindly
friends'
tell.
help, and there are a lot of people, sir, behind the work. It's not me alone.
But I think you are a leader for that.
By God's grace, sir.
Okay, no, it's by virtue,
Got
and
the
God has
opportunity
blessed for that.
and utilized the opportunity by His grace.
Yes. So Harishchander sir, please
Fine,
you
sir.
can start your this
Sure,
session,
sir.
sir.
Thanks a lot. Sure.
Anyhow, we are able to not able to see. I think you have switched off your camera, if I am correct.
Well, if you want me to switch on, I can switch
No,
on my camera.
no, you have switched.
Okay,
As
sir.
you like.
Fine. I
as you
think
like.
I'm.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
No, definitely people will be
Thank you,
happy.
sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you, Professor. I think you can start your sharing and we can go to the presentation. Just few
Sure.
minutes, Professor. Few minutes. Yes, Professor. We can start our presentation. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would like to thank all for giving me an opportunity to share the applications of AI. And as we know, there are diverse biological applications, and they do require diverse graph theory. But to identify which specific graph theory of which specific application is the need of the hour, and there is no single reason that a single graph theory or a specific topic in biology or sciences required. So it's the combinatorial optimization. That's the need of the hour to be introduced. So nowadays people call the term systems biology. In initial days, it's only the classical biology and the normal botany or the zoology, because it's not a single gene which triggers the network. It's the network of the gene which triggers the system. As we know, suppose when you are stuck in a traffic jam, whenever a small path opens, there are certain proteins which migrate through the small path and do the function. And that's how the network biology works. So gene regulatory networks and the protein interaction networks gives the code here. So the other relationships in biology and relative systems represents the relative network. As we all know, microbiome is a very recent research topic, and there are a lot of research papers stating that this specific microbiome can do a lot of wonders. And there are a lot of artificial intelligence based systems to trigger the large data analysis. Before it was only the 1,000 read character segment in the model. Now it's 10,000 read character based with respect to the AI technology. So the recurring graph problem in a clustering data and the variant analysis gives the key here. And many people talk about click problems. It's not only in biology, even in classical statistics in English. So what the term click refers here is the recurrent clustering applications. Because whenever we have set of people belong to a specific group, say like the set of people who are interested in football alone or cricket alone, they form a cluster. But the true click, that is which one is only with respect to the cricket, not with respect to football or others, that specific click is computationally hard to find if you have a data of more than 10,000. But nowadays, due to AI technology and the advancements in large language models, it's relatively easy to computationally have a meaningful techniques. So the same technique were adopted by biologists from the large language models, as well as the minor statistics and the relative examples. They call it the maximum density subgraph and the extreme set association. So they come to a concept called as the subgraph density. widely used by tools like Facebook, Metaverse, and related social networking, biological networking, and statistical analyst. Even the public health and epidemiology related studies, they do have the analysis of subgraph. So here we have a maximum density subgraph, which gives the probability based association for different properties. And then initially we have studied only the normal sets with associative properties. When we have extreme set, that is more than 10,000 data points which can occur in all directions. Suppose with respect to space research, if you consider, it's not a single direction, it's a multi-direction. And from the n-dimensional data, how to get into 2 dimensions is the key version here. So the total weight of edge crossing from the relative subset to the rational sets of the weights gives us the region. So the extreme set is the polynomial time. And that's why people talk about the space and time complexity. And with respect to AI, it's no more complex, it's relatively easy. And then the pipeline development. In many fields, they started developing pipelines, starting from language to statistics. So in biology also, they have the random graph theory for studying the networks. So from null models to the advanced networks by using probability, the development works. So if you consider outline for biological sequencing or a statistical sequencing or a large language model, if you have a sequence data, it's the Euler's part. But if you want to study a co-evolution, that is the secondary or the tertiary data, people started using the tanglegrams. And then for the multiple alignment, suppose if you have more than 2 or 3 sequences coming in random, they have a network design. And then if you want to
Professor,
find
just a minute,
haplotyping or
Professor,
a
sorry
perfect
for
way the
interrupting.
graph realizes it, it's the graph realization. And then phylogenetic parent-child relationship, multi-level inheritance, and multiple inheritance, you have the incompatibility graph path. And then when it comes to gall trees, we have the recombination networks. The gall tree model is not much explored, and Dan Gusfield is the person who is trying to explore the model when you have more than 10,000 data points coming in random directions everywhere and how the system works. So in the initialization, you have the Euler's path for the sequence and the assembly, and the tanglegram to study the coevolution. And then the tree design approximation for the sequence alignment. And then the path from a sequencing problem, as we all know, the k-means clustering model. Suppose when you are a traveler trying to cover 5 places in leisure time, and which time you start the first place to be there based on the distance or the road which is clear or the relative identities, you have the k-meer number. So the k minus 1 is the clustering model to extend the relation. And we do have a lot of deterministic points for the subset and the k minus 1 mers. And then if you consider the graph for a general k, from k minus 1, it starts to k minus 2. Because it's not only the 0 point, because we assume it's 0, it can be minus 1 and minus 2 also, starting points. And this is how the graph really looks. In AI also, for an advanced data set, they rely on the edge rather than the node in the graph. So the Euler's path can be derived for the subgraphs. So every point in Eulerian graph is conversely to the sequencing model. And this approach gives the k minus 1 mers. So the finer distinction in Euler's path gives the subpath of length 2 in a polynomial time. So in case of the binary alphabet, as I have told you the 4 cases, how to derive the maximum probability from the 4 cases with respect to the minimum contribution. And the process which is done manually, no, it will take 2 to 3 minutes, but AI and advancements will take nanoseconds to work it out. All this tuning, crossing can be done in nanoseconds. And then restarting the optimal path in the Eulerian graph gives the relation between the crossing pair. So the normal solution to be accepted in a polynomial time is the matrodial structure to use the greedy algorithm for the Euler's path. So the matrodial structure has a low pair and a high pair. So the difference in values of the low power gives you the loss extension and the independent model. And then the tangle graph, a pair of trees drawn between the plane without crossing edges. This is the tricky concept where a seed leaf is taken. And then a straight line to connect the leaves in the label. So the number of crossing lines gives the measure of similarity. Then the multiple sequence alignment, as I told you, multiple data coming from various points, how the exploitation takes place for the design. And then the same was applied in the area of population genomics. Now large language models are being applied to population genomics for studying the genetic drive, the disease and susceptibility model based on any genetic marker. Here they have taken the single nucleotide polymorphism marker. So the SNP data gives the distinction between, as I told you, the one site per 1,000 can also be calculated very fast by AI. And before it used to be more than 10, now for 5% frequency and very precise level of analysis can be done. The same was done in US for the haplotype mapping project, where National Institute of Health led the project. Those days itself, they have spent 100 million to
Professor,
find the
just a
single
minute,
nucleotide
Professor.
polymorphism haplotypes and the
Professor,
human.
Pro-
Yeah.
yeah, your screen is not visible, Professor, actually. Only your image is
Okay,
visible.
okay, fine. Yeah.
Kindly share your screen, Professor.
Okay, I'll share the full screen now. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, the HapMap project where NIH took the lead and they have identified the common single nucleotide polymorphism with respect to the haplotype which causes the mutations and then the disease association in population. That resulted a lot of marker discovery. And then how to get a perfect phylogeny by using haplotyping via graph realization. So when you try to distinguish the genotype and phenotype, it's not that easy because in genotype you have multiple changes and only few are reflected in the phenotype and the haplotype. So in that specific problem, what we have is the haplotype pairs connecting to the genetic model. And then for the perfect phylogeny, you have the single nucleotide polymorphism markers and the relative extensions. You can see the multiple crossovers taking place from the ancestor for the multiple generations. And all these things can also be done in nanoseconds. So when we have a set of sequences to be derived over a perfect phylogeny, we don't have duplicate columns, and the perfect phylogeny gives the relative model based on the initial probability itself. No need to go for the additional probability base. So all the binary characters in the column allows the tree to be done. Imagine the concept is not new. Dan Gusfield discussed this in 91 itself, and now only the application for it is going on. Even the recent book of Dan Gusfield gave a lot of advantages in the space and time complexity reduction in artificial intelligence. So the perfect phylogeny model for all haplotype gives the biological clock. I know everyone are knowing a little about biological clock and the circadian rhythms. What happens is the sleep cycle for every species is different based on the initial system initiated. And initially, it was very tough to study the cycles. Now, AI technology has been applied and all these relative cycles were studied. So the circadian rhythm is very well explained, and a guy from IISc also demonstrated a model for AI in circadian rhythms and got the Booker Prize. And the perfect phylogeny is given here for a basic example for a two model. Actually, it's multiple model. For a simple example in making you understand, I'm trying to explain the geno, pheno, and the haplomatrix. So the probability per haplotype problem is taken for the perfect phylogeny analysis. As you can see, here there are only the ancestor, and here there are the submodules for the combinations. So due to the binary aspect, you are representing it as only 1 and 0, nor as 2 and 1. And then given a set of genotype, how to explain the haplotype in a phylogeny, you have the further extension. And the alternative explanation is no tree is possible. That is for the multiple model, you don't have parent-child relation. You have the arbitrary based random process, and that can be explained only by the artificial intelligence, not by the conventional method. That is one example. So the efficient solution to the PPH problem from genotype to phenotype. Initially, it was OM square, and now they are trying to reduce to OM. See, from 2005 itself, the linear solution by applying algebra and relative optimization were taken. And then they started working on the reduction approach from the polynomial time to the linear time. So when you get the set of one entries in the last column, it is understood that for every phylogeny, there is one perfect model counting. And then the leaf counting starts for the relative phylogeny for the mutation and the relative counting. And then the simple calculations for the subtree, right, which takes almost 5 to 10 minutes or done in 0.01 second also nowadays. So the basic idea is for every set of row and column in a matrix to obtain a perfect phylogeny, the path between the leaves and the edge must be a mutation. So that only the modern graph theory focuses more on the edge, and based on that only the distance measures also modified. That is edge Pearson's correlation and all those methods. And from row data to the tree constraint, you have the relative moieties. And then the graph theory also explains further labels that contain the realization. So the powerful tool to be explored is the path set, realization, family, and fundamental cycle. Now, a Python package called NetworkX does everything in 1 power 1 into 10e minus 6 also. Because the same work which I used to do before the AI application or the advanced graph theory in small tools like Cytoscape can be done in very advanced way nowadays. And then the tree realization is further extended for the cyclic path because graph theory involves a cycle. And then AI also gives you the advanced solutions based on the cyclic methods. And the PPH problem is solved at an instant by giving the graph realization solution. But the issue is where AI could go to the other module and the other language model extension is that for a subgraph of each row, they should not be grouped together at the same root. Sometimes the root may differ also. We don't know exactly. But to address this issue, people are trying further advanced optimization in the large language models of AI to get the reduction. So from the row data to the tree constraint, you have the edge in the path to follow. And then from encoding a directed path, you have the different path. And you can see all the probability moieties and the path extension is still going on from these numbers. Now you can add a path set to the row, and then the same reduction path gives you the row input to the PPH problem. And the implicit representation of solution from 1930 to basic graph theory to the twisted model gives the realization of the. And then finally, we come to the phylogenetic networks and the recombination theory using AI. And then we get the unique game in all incompatible models also. It's not only the direct, it's the indirect, and it's not only compatible, even the incompatible relation gives you a model which can be an additional richer model with AI for identifying the mutation. So the sequence recombination in single crossover by genetic algorithm along with network combination for the advanced marker can be done by using AI. So since we need to understand more in recombination, the association mapping for complex diseases using AI and augment related genotypes are being done in the associative mapping. So we take a strategy to practice finding genes which are influencing the haplotypes using SNPs. So the disease mutations initially were unobserved from the sequence data by applying all AI-based techniques to the mutation sites. We have the unresolved mutation in Mendelian genetics in the modern ARGs using AI. You can see from the normal possibility, you can have the relative additional possibility and the relative relation to get the disease. It's not only the known markers which can trigger the disease, there are certain additional markers which cannot be directly observed by using experiments and which may occur for a mild instance can be predicted by using AI. That's the advantage. So the single disease mutation occurrence between the sites which are not explored also can be done by using AI. And we can map disease genes to the inferred argument related genotypes to the single nucleotide polymorphism. And we can work on the reconstruction of the evolution of SNP sequences. See the advantage. You can do the pathway reconstruction in a brisk and fast manner, compare to the initial mathematical algorithm. So first we need to identify the specific mathematical algorithm which involves graph theory and the decomposition model, and then we need to apply the practical computations. It's not all computations we can apply here. The practical computations which are feasible based on the space and time complexity model, which can associate with the genotypes, and then the relative applications in the recombination. So the first case we can check is, if not a tree, then how can you explain the network, how the algorithm of advanced AI works? We can make it a tree-like model and a small network. What I'm showing is for an example, but it's actually more than 500,000 nodes and 60,000 edges. It's multiple combination. It's not a network which can be easily resolved like this. So the recombination cycle in phylogenetic networks gives the trace path of the backward as well as the recombination cycle. And the Galtree model, which is not much explored till now, in large language models, they are now incorporating Galtree models to get the cyclic nature. So the question comes, if M cannot generate on a true tree, how it can generate a Galtree? And this is how the Galtree, because in generally it's the root, no, in a tree which is highly stable, and it's not the shoot which can give rise to other shoots, but in Galtree you have the shoot which can rise to the relative shoots, and that's how the AI model works. It's not the root alone; it's the shoot and relative model of the data which can be extended and further developed. So the results about the Galtree gives the minimization possibility recombinations. So all possible phylogenetic networks done till date can use the Galtree to have a recombination. And it's not a single paper which can give the advantage of Galtree. From 2003 to 2007, there are a lot of papers discussed about it. And when we try to elaborate the near uniqueness using the Galtree model application in AI, it has two sides, that is the number of arrangements and the point in which the variation occurs, and all other features are invariant. So this idea gives the incompatible sites also, and then the incompatible graph analysis is further extended in AI, which can easily bypass the normal geometry game test, and the connected components are also very informative from the model, from the incompatible graph. So the necessary condition for a Galtree is it's bipartite and biconvex. It has two partitions in the layout, and it can have an additional region also for the structural extension. And then easily it can solve the haplotyping model. The genotype phenotype related relations can easily be done with the advanced model. And the necessary condition for one Galtree is the additional probabilistic variance, so that if there are two probabilities like P and Q, that is P plus Q equals 1. So there is a factor X between P and Q, which gives you the relation. And then if you take an example for the different data points, you have the sequence E and D, which exist in the middle, and that is called as the node of the network, and the central point, which will have more connection than others, will give you the extension node. And coming back to the pathway reconstruction, back to genotypes, we can set the genotype from the haplotype using Galtree. And this is even tested by using the NASC song, a part of integrated linear programming to extend artificial intelligence algorithms, and the mini compact integrated linear programming to solve incompatible graphs. So for one Galtree problem, the integrated linear programming solves very efficiently. Imagine 200 rows and 40 sites in seconds to minutes it can be solved, or else it will take minimum half an hour. That's the advantage of AI here. So the minimization of recombinations in unstructured networks can also be solved by the Galtree extension, and the polynomial time is also reduced, and the NP hot problem is also reduced. So the minimization in NP hot problem can be done by solving smaller data sets initially to optimize methods and efficiently compute the lower and upper bound, and apply these methods to not only biological and biotechnological questions in all space and time complexity related problems. So the decomposition theorem is being applied to reduce the NP problem, and AI gives the best possible solution for it. And the incompatibility graph is further reduced in the game to get the pairwise extension. So the connected components of a Galtree based lower bound model is also informative. It's not only the upper bound model which we take as information. So we do have a recombination in the phylogenetics and the relative model for getting the recombination cycle. And a maximal set of interesting cycles form a blob. Blob is only the bi-connected component of a network. People refer the term blob in a lot of literatures, and sometimes we may get confused by using the bi-component part of a network, and AI solves all these issues. And then the blob trees are being studied in the network, and the subparts of the network are also easily analyzed. And you can see there are not much information in this tree, but you have a minor information in the blob. So the network analyzes everything, and if there is any information needed also, it can be given in the AI model Galtree. And a simple observation is that in any network N for M, all sites from the same component of G and M must appear together in a single blob. And the decomposition theorem, what it says is, for any sequence M, if there is a phylogenetic network M, for a blob, you can have fully decomposed network for all decomposition possible. And this is the network M with one blob. And this is the fully decomposed graph. Moreover, the backbone tree is invariant for M to determine the polynomial time, and the single minimization is separately done in invariant way. So algorithmically, if we want to test it, we can find the tree of the blob and then determine the sequence labeling by the blob and determine a good structure and then solving it successfully. All these parts of the algorithm, no need to do it individually. Once you train the network in artificial intelligence, it can take place itself. Any new data comes also, you don't need to worry. The system will understand itself. So the sufficient condition is the complete decomposition, and the deep results in the theorem gives you the same number connected with all recombinations. You can see in 2007 itself people explored, but they did not have the technology to experiment further. But now we have the technology for further experiments. So the corollary of the theorem, what it says is the fully decomposed network exists in minimized number of recombination also, unless every optimal network uses some recombination node in sequence. Yeah, that is a large language model extension of advanced AI. And the addition of those sequences is incompatibility between the sites and different components. And you can have sequences in M and N for the network, and you can have the additional component of the multiple combinations. So if you consider a practical insufficient condition where M derived from network N and load M, then there is a fully decomposed network to give the possibilities. Another practical sufficient condition is that the poly computational time of the haplotype of lower bound is extended to the minimization of recombination in the network. And Y is a perfect phylogeny for non-binary characters also. For each character of pair, say nodes and edges, and the relative T for the combination matrix, it follows the subtree of the disjoint sets. That is the relation we need a perfect phylogeny. And here you can see the K is reduced to 3 from 5 from the previous combination, and the submodules also. And if you consider other example, the tree for state 2 for the character B is also being modified in the advanced algorithm. And the chordal graph gives the cycle length of more than a chord And then the caudal graph gives the relative moieties of n click, where n minus 1 vectors are possible. Another classic caudal graph theorem says that for each node G, which is a member of S, can have multiple recombinations. So how we can relate it to phylogeny is, if perfect phylogeny T for table E, any character Cn X of the subforest of the node can be connected to the subtree T. And there is a natural set of subtree induced by E also. So the caudal completion approach to perfect phylogeny is the extension of the row E in both characters. You can see the G of E combinations with multiple models. You can see the state transitions also very easily here. So the deeper result is, if C of E be the graph derived from G dash of E, create a node in C of E for each maximal click G dash of E. First thing. And then we can have the edge UV in C of E if all clicks of U and V share the same node. And the weightage also for the edge UV can be shared by the relative nodes. So that C of E can be created by G dash of E in polynomial time. Any maximum spanning tree C of E is a perfect phylogeny of E, and T can be found more directly by G of E. So the perfect phylogeny is being studied 20 years, and since they could not solve it before 20 years, now with AI they can solve these problems. For any fixed bound, the number of state character is a polynomial time reduction, and then the number of state bounded by the NP complete is also being solved. Any fixed number of characters in the problem can be solved. So integrated linear programming combined with Galtree in artificial intelligence and large language models is the best to be considered till date with respect to advanced technologies. And you can see all compatible sets were easily explored with all paths in nanoseconds. Okay, fine. So I'm done with my presentations. Any questions on the application of large language models or Galtree or relative probabilities? I'm happy to answer. Um, Recently included concept in large language models and artificial intelligence application, and most of the tools started using these models and applications. And I'm happy to answer your questions. Thank you. Any doubts?
If you have any queries, please ask. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today. It was indeed pleasure listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Ms. A. Satyajyoti, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to introduce our next chief guest, Dr. Janneker Lawerence Daniel, sir. Welcome you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everyone. It's my immense pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Janneker Lawerence Daniel, teaches English at his alma mater, St. John's College, Palangote. He is the author of Southern Concatron, a collection of short stories. Around 10 of his stories and poems have been published in various anthologies. He was one of the top 10 writers in India, as chosen by Times of India in 2016. His love for books started at a young age because of his library in his house. He grew up on biblical and medieval tales. One can be sure to spot a novel with him irrespective of circumstance. He is now working on a novel that will be published soon. His other interests include music, farming, and biking. Dr. Janneker is also a certified English language trainer. He trains candidates for international competitive exams such as IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, and BEC. He is an authority on Cambridge English exam, having been certified with Cambridge TKT certificates on 3 modules. He also holds a distinction certificate in Cambridge, BEC certificate. He has a CI level CIFR certificate of Persian Wilson test. Dr. Janneker writes regularly on LinkedIn. He has written more than 40 short stories that are available on the platform. He is a content creator, blogger, writer, and soft skill trainer. He has published many scholarly articles in reputed journals, including those indexed in Scopus. He is also a translator, working as an honorary associate editor of a journal for 8 years. Welcome you, sir.
All of you can just leave the hall, have a tea break, and then come inside after 10 minutes. Followed by your tea break, we'll have the next session.
do not be worried about the strength of the people here. But I think we can all be happy with the extra attention and concentration that we can have on what we are going to learn today. So as per the plan, now for about the next 45 minutes or 1 hour, what we will have now is something like an oral presentation, which would be ideally followed by a workshop in which we can learn a little bit about the different applications that we can use through artificial intelligence to empower ourselves as teachers. Okay? So now, can you please name the recent movie that you have seen? What is it? Brahma Yoham, okay. Manjumel Boys. Good Night. Okay. Okay, parking, fine. Okay. Now, you answered my question perfectly. I told you to tell me the name of the movie that you saw recently. Now, can you tell me the name of a movie that has impressed you or impacted you very much? It need not be recent. It could be made any time in the history of the cinema. Is there any movie that you can say, yes, this is my favorite movie? Before you say it's my favorite movie, also be ready with an answer as to why it is your favorite movie. Okay? And again, the answer could be anything. It could be your favorite. Okay, let me not, I'm rushing ahead of time. So I need your answers. And if you don't mind, can the three of you please move a little closer to this side so that I can keep looking directly? Yes. Oh, it's damaged. Okay. Okay, fine. Then be seated. Okay. So now tell me, your most favorite movie. I can read your minds. You can say, yeah, I have so many, but then you're asking for reasons. It's the reasons that are difficult to come by. Okay, don't worry about the reasons. Just tell me the names. Section 375. Okay, that is your favorite. Okay, great. Then, what about the others? Okay. Why don't you use this for Mike?
So the story was based on there was this like Tamla solta sir, no issues, right? Okay, so வந்துட்டு it is like if there's a problem, we always expect someone to step up and voice out for them. Instead of expecting that someone, you should be that someone there, sir. So that's what impressed me, and that's one of my principles after that, sir. Like I follow it. Like if I have this gut feeling that someone has to step up, I don't wait for them. I just voice out, even if it's like I shouldn't speak out there, but if it's needed, I step up and I voice out, sir. Yes.
Anthony, and you asked me permission to speak in Tamil. I gave you permission, but then you never switched to Tamil. I think you're more comfortable. Okay, fine, good. So that ideology involved in the movie, or the ideology on which the movie was based on, has struck a chord with him, and he says that's his favorite movie because of that. What about the others? This is a very limited strength, as I told you. You're not sitting in a room filled with 1,000 people, so you can't escape my attention. I need answers. Joe. Okay, fine. Then. Triple R. Okay. And why Triple R? Any particular reason? Don't worry if your answer would be right or wrong. There are no right answers, no wrong answers here. Okay? More realistic. That's all? If any other point comes to your mind, just tell me. Yes. What about the others? Manjumal boys. And
The story is about a friend who is falling inside a cave. Cave in Kodaikanal. It's called Guna Cave. Okay, we all know about the song Kanmani and Bodu Kadalan. The story about the trip, the boys are going for a trip in Kodaikanal. So one of the friend, he will fall into that cave. It's very deep and it's very dangerous too. Even that police and safety officers, they won't allow them to get inside the cave. But those friends, they stay together to save their friend. Okay, that's the moral story. So the thing is, which I felt different is, they gave a different definition for that song, like Kanmani and Bodu Kadalan. All we know is Kanmani and Bodu Kadalan, that song is a love song. But at last they saved their friend. At the end of the climax, they saved their friend. So while dragging their friend from the deeper side of the cave, so there will be a background song like Manidan Unarndu Kolla Idu Manida Kadalalla, that song. So what I felt is, they gave a different definition, which means the song is for friendship also.
So the word kadal can be for friendship also.
Yeah, Manidan Unarndu Kolla, which means whatever human is feeling, it's not only for love, it's for friendship also. That was very impressive.
Wonderful. Yes. My favorite movie is Kim Ki-duk's Spring, Summer, Winter. Okay. It is highly philosophical. Okay, and you also look philosophical the way you speak. Okay.
anybody else? Yes, ma'am. I think you can repeat your points. Yes.
So I said that my favorite movie was a Bollywood movie named Section 375. Why would I say that is my favorite movie is because that was a movie which broke the feminine attitude towards advocating the harassment cases. The movie is all about how a female was harassed and how the case was taken into the court. It was all about that. But when the investigation went on, the advocate broke all the negative perspectives that is being thrusted on a man when the harassment case comes upon. The moment when we hear the word that a girl is being harassed, everybody's eyes will be turning on the man. Yes, definitely a man would have done something wrong. Why is it like that? Every time, see, men and women are human beings. Right and wrong belongs to both of them. We cannot just like that glorify only women are good, only women are holy. No, it is not like that. When I was doing my PG, when I did my research PG project, I gave a poetic line where I concluded it in such a way that men are not as beastly as the society created them, and women are not as holy as we are prized. I am just bringing both men and women to a neutral point where they both are equal.
Yes.
That's nothing. And that movie concluded that point.
Wonderful, wonderful.
In that movie, the girl was harassed, but still the advocate lighted out all the villainous perspectives of that lady.
Okay.
So that was a breaking point of that movie.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Now, yes, others? The integral part of our training today, workshop today, dwells on the core of what you say now. So it is imperative that you say something, because I'm sure at least one movie would have touched your heart. Or is there anybody here who doesn't watch movies? If that be the case, then of course I have another thing for you. Yes, others?
There is one other movie which I pointed out in the beginning was the recent movie Good Night. I hope everyone would have watched it. I personally feel that was after Section 375, that was very serious, on a very serious note. But this movie, Good Night, was so comical. So the movie was full of laughter. Full of laughter. And on seeing that movie, I came to, I remembered the quote which I learned in criticism. If you start playing with words, then words will start to play with you.
True.
The words were the root, the nucleus of that film.
Okay,
The choice of words, the way the comedian created all those comedians, both hero and the comedian they were tremendous.
Okay.
So those choice of words and expressing their emotions made the movie completely comic one.
Okay.
So
Fine.
that was.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, others, can you please pipe in with your contributions? Any movie. For me, if you were to ask me what my favorite movie is, it is not a movie, it's a series of cartoons. My favorite is Tom and Jerry. There are so many life lessons that can be learned from Tom and Jerry. And the simplicity of the drawings, but the powerful emotions that they pack, especially nobody can look as greedy as Tom does when he is about to eat something or hit someone. And nobody can cry and howl in pain unashamedly as Tom does. He doesn't shy away from crying or shouting in pain. Okay? And when I was a kid, I always thought that Tom was a villain and that Jerry was a good guy. But only then I learned that Jerry was a terrible creature, always provoking and poking Tom and making him do stuff that Tom very naturally does. So how many life lessons can be learned from Tom and Jerry? So these things make Tom and Jerry my favorite. What is yours? What is yours? If you don't have any movies, it can be a documentary, you can move into books as well. You can move into books. I didn't want to start with books because I wanted to break the ice and then move into books. But then some of you seem like, hey, come on, man, we came in for AI in writing and you're talking about movies? Okay, I'll play it your way then. Yes, please. What is your favorite movie? What is your favorite story? What is your favorite book? What is your favorite something that you have seen or read? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It's not my favorite movie, sir, but it's created impact. Jai Beam.
Okay.
Jai Beam. That movie.
Jai Beam. Okay.
It's focused on the social status as well as the economical status of the poor people. When the time of a court scene, the hero Surya said one thing, dialogue between the two lawyers. In Tamil, சார் இந்த பசங்களாம் திருட்டு பசங்க தான் சார் இப்போ தான் வந்து போலீஸ் பிடிச்சிட்டு போனாங்க அப்படின்னும்போது சூர்யா சொல்லுவார், ஏன் சார் உங்கள் ஜாதியிலலாம் திருடர்கள் இல்லையா, இல்லை ஏன் ஜாதியில் திருடர்கள் இல்லையா, ஏன் பிராண்ட் பண்ணுறீங்க, பெரிய பெரிய திருடங்கள்லாம் எல்லா ஜாதியிலும் இருக்காங்க, நம்ம ஜாதியிலும் இருக்காங்க, தயவு பண்ணி அந்த மாதிரி பிராண்ட் பண்ணுறதை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொல்லுவாங்க. இட்ஸ் தட் வாஸ் கிரியேட்டட் a big impact.
That created an impact. Very good, very good. Anybody else? Again, you can use two languages to talk. One is English and the one is Tamil. Anything other than that, well, you can use, but I won't be able to understand. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is take your notebook, and I want you to write the impact that whatever word or a phrase. For example, as ma'am said, the impact that she had was branding everyone or branding a particular sect of people or a caste of people generically. That impact. Okay? So anything, maybe you can bring that down as a societal issue. The impact that you had was related to society. Societal issue. That section 375, it was related to sort of a struggle between male chauvinism and feminism, probably. False allegations. So you mentioned both the things, and others likewise. And even those who haven't told anything,
I'm sure you also would have watched something and there would be some impact that you would have had. So write that impact in a word or a phrase in your notebook. Now, you can close your notebook. Time will come for us to use that. Now, I would like to talk about one story that all of us would probably know. One story that all of us would probably know. So, can you name any such story? Don't go into literature mode. Okay. By the way, does everyone here teach English or any math staff here? You all teach English? English as a language or English as literature? Fine. So don't go into ELT mode or literature mode. Let's keep this simple. One story that all of us, yeah, this story, yeah, I know. Anything like that? What about this one? Party Vadachutta? You're okay. But then that has different endings. Okay, whatever. Now, I want, I'll pass the microphone. I want you to sit. You need not get up. Sit and narrate the story as short as possible in either English or in Tamil. Got it? I'll pass the microphone. Or I won't be passing the microphone. I'll hand over the microphone to the first person, and the microphone would be passed by that person to the next person. In the kathaiya Tamillayum sollalam illa Englishlayum sollalam. Okay, you can have whatever ending you want. You can even bring in an elephant if you want. I don't care. Okay? Yes, ma'am. அந்த பாட்டி வடச்சு உட்கார்ந்தே பேசுங்க. பாட்டி வடச்சுட்ட கதையை எவ்வளோ ஷார்ட்டாக சொல்ல முடியுமோ சொல்லிட்டு அப்படியே மைக் அங்கே கொடுத்துருங்க.
ரேபிட் அண்ட் டார்டைஸ். ரேபிட் வந்து அதுக்கு வந்து க்ரீடியாகவும் இருக்கும், ப்ரைடாகவும் இருக்கும். நம்ம என்ன செய்கிறோமோ அதுதான் கரெக்டு அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும். ஆனால் டார்டைஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்லோவாக இருக்கும். அது திங்கிங்கும் ஸ்லோவாக தான் இருக்கும், ஆக்ஷனும் ஸ்லோவாக தான் இருக்கும். ஆனால் வில் பவர் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்காக இருக்கும். அப்போ 2 பேரும் வந்து ரேஸ் வச்சுக்குவாங்க. அப்போ ரேஸ் வச்சுக்கும் போது அவங்க ரேபிட் சொல்லும், உன்னாலெல்லாம் எதுவும் பண்ண முடியாது, என்னால் தான் பண்ண முடியும். நீ எதுலேயுமே டெட் ஸ்லோ, நான் வந்து எல்லாத்துலேயும் ஃபாஸ்ட், என்னால் முடியும், நீ கண்டிப்பாக உன்னால் வந்து சக்ஸஸ் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லி 2 பேரும் வந்து காம்படிஷனுக்கு ரெடி ஆகிடுவாங்க. அவங்க வந்து டார்டைஸ் வந்து காமாக தான் இருக்கும், எதுவுமே ஆர்குமெண்ட்லாம் பண்ணாது. அவங்க வந்து 2 பேருக்கும் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகிடும் கேமு. இவங்க டார்டைஸ் வந்து ஸ்லோவாக வந்துன்னு இருக்கும். அது வந்து ரேபிட் வந்து எடுத்த உடனே அவங்க ஸ்டார்டிங் பாயிண்டில் ரொம்ப ஸ்பீடாக ஓட்டிடுவாங்க. அவங்க எனர்ஜியெல்லாம் ஒரு கட்டத்தில் லாஸ் ஆகிட்டு ஒரு அண்டர் த ட்ரீயில் போய் அவங்க ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்துகிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. எங்கே வரப்போகுது டார்டைஸ், நம்ம வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக வந்துட்டோம், மேக்ஸிமம் நம்ம கடந்துட்டோம், அவங்க இப்போ தான் ஸ்டார்டிங் பாயிண்டில் இருந்துகிட்டு இருப்பாங்க அப்படின்னு நினச்சிட்டு வந்து ரெஸ்ட் எடுத்துகிட்ருக்கோம். அப்போது இவங்க டார்டைஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, ஸ்லோவாக தான் வருவாங்க. ரொம்ப அதாவது அந்த அண்டர் த ட்ரீயில் ரேபிட் உட்காந்துருக்கிற இடம் வரைக்கும் ஸ்லோவாக வருவாங்க. அவங்க வந்து அவங்க உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்கிறத பார்த்துட்டு சைலண்ட்டாக இங்கே இப்போ நீங்கள் உட்காந்துட்டிங்களா இந்த இந்த செகண்ட்லேருந்து நான் 75% வந்துட்டாங்க. 75% to 100% இந்த டைமில் நான் எடுக்கிறேன் பீக்கு அப்படின்னு டைம் எடுக்கிறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த இடத்துலேருந்து செம்ம ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக போயிட்டு ரீச் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. இவ்வளோ 75% அவங்க ஸ்லோவாக வந்ததை 25% அது வந்து பேலன்ஸ் பண்ணி ஃபஸ்ட்டில் வந்துடுவாங்க. அவங்க வர மாட்டாங்கன்னு நினச்சிட்டே இருந்தவங்க ரேபிட் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, எங்கே வந்திருக்க போகிறாங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவங்க ரொம்ப ரிலாக்ஸாக போவாங்க. 75%லேருந்து 100% ரிலாக்ஸாக போவாங்க. கடைசியில் பார்த்தா அவங்க தான் வின் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க சார். இதுலேருந்து ஸ்லோ அண்டு இதுலேருந்து என்ன ஒரு மாரல் தெரியுதுன்னா, ஸ்லோவாக இருந்தாலும் ஸ்டடியாக இருந்தாலும் அந்த ரேஸில் வின் பண்ணுறவங்க யாருன்னா டார்டாய்ஸ் தான் சார்.
எஸ் மேம், தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச். எஸ், நீங்கள் 2 சென்டென்ஸ்னு கேட்டீங்க, 200 சென்டென்ஸ் கிட்ட போயிட்டு குட், நோ ப்ராப்ளம். Good, thank you. Yes ma'am.
Same story.
Any story that you want, but all of you keep it short. We are racing against time. Yes.
There's a golden goose. Its feather is full of golden. So there is a family and that family is having that golden goose in their home. And what this family do, they actually protect them. During the cold time, its feather started to fall down and they saw it's not a normal feather, it's a golden feather. So what these parents will do, they started to have some jealous. They will be in greedy mind always. So they pluck all the golden feathers and they sell everything, and they later onwards there is no feather in that goose. So these people are very greedy and they exploit their own pet they had in their home. So no, stop being jealous with others. That's the story.
Good. Thank you. Yes ma'am.
Same rabbit and tortoise. Self-confidence and overconfidence.
Okay.
Two extreme character.
Yes.
So self-confidence, if you have self-confidence, there is a chance to win.
Okay.
You have overconfidence, there is a chance to lose.
Okay.
This is the model.
Okay. Thank you.
I also had the same thing on the story, tortoise and rabbit. But from the story, we have to learn continuous practice also. Even we know everything. We have to continuously practice on it. Then only we can win the game. It's not for the run. It's for life also.
Okay, thank you. 1 minute. Ma'am, you write what I tell you in your notebook. Both of you write philosophy. There. You both write philosophy, you both write stories. Just write stories, that's all. Okay? For you both, it's philosophy. Yes, ma'am.
There is a story about a friendship. 2 boys, they were going to a jungle. So one tiger will be there for attacking them. So one boy, he knows how to climb a tree, and another boy, he uses a trick. He lies down. He doesn't know how to climb a tree. So suddenly he fall down and lying as he died, as he is a dead body. And the tiger, one boy, he will be in the tree. He will be climbing and sitting over the tree, and the tiger will come near the boy, lying. He's lying down. To the boy, the tiger, it will say like, "Don't believe your friend." Like he didn't save you.
Yes.
So there is a moral like a friend indeed is a friend in need.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Story for you. Okay. Write down story. Yes, sir.
Tortoise in the hair. முயலும் வெல்லும் ஆமையும் வெல்லும், முயல் ஆமை தான் வெல்லாது.
Good. Philosophy. Yes, you. Yes, any story. Yeah, just keep it short. Any story that you've read, or a gist of any movie or a documentary or a series or anything that you watched or something that you heard, something that you eavesdropped probably, I don't know, anything. I'll give you some more time. Think. Huh? Okay. So you're very happy to hand the microphone back. Ma'am, would you like to try?
The Last Leaf by O. Henry.
Sorry, the last?
The Last Leaf.
Oh, the last leaf. Okay.
Trust or mind is the biggest medicine.
Sorry?
Trust or self-trust or mind is the biggest medicine.
Okay, philosophy for you.
Fox and the Crow story.
So when the crow starts to cheat, the crow first cheats the old lady and take the snack from her. And while he starts to eat, the crow starts to eat, a fox who's standing down the tree, he rises up and asks for the, means he started to give some, what to say, he started to praise the crow about his. And so on listening to the fake prouds, the crow lost the snacks. The fox got the snack.
Okay.
So when you cheat one fellow or one person, surely you will be also cheated by someone else.
Great. Story for you. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, it is the answer for the previous question you asked. The movie that I like the most, recently I watched a movie named Irugapatru. So I really loved watching it. The characters were lively. And in the present scenario, I feel if partners, if people watch, there will not be many issues in their family.
You said partners, then people. What do you mean?
I mean married couple.
Okay. So Irugapatru is about married.
Yes,
people.
married life.
Okay.
How they have like difference of opinion among them,
Fine,
and how finally it is getting resolved.
All right.
So the movie portrays different characters. Nearly 3 different married couples and the problems faced by them, and finally the problems get resolved.
Okay. So that touched you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can probably write marriage for the first point. And do you have a story to share?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Yes.
Just
Priyadashini, ma'am.
thinking
Oh,
answer
you're
for your
thinking.
question. Just
Okay.
now I came.
Okay. No problem. Now, some of you, again, this is, although I teach English and although I'm a short story writer, this workshop is not about making you write stories. This is all about making you write effectively and, if possible, empowering you using artificial intelligence. So that's what we aim at. So it doesn't mean that all of us here must become short story writers or novelists just because we come from the Department of English. It doesn't mean that. But all the same, since we are in the field of teaching, it is imperative that we become proficient in writing and in speaking as well. So now a quick question. Maybe the students also, you're all students, right? Okay. So students can also answer, what is the best way to become a proficient writer? A writer who doesn't make mistakes, a writer who is able to attract audiences. The one who writes diary, okay. The one who observes more. When you say one who writes diary, you're talking about the age-old good tradition that has been lost to this generation. Yeah, good. So, first keeping, fine. And observing what? In what way? Hmm. 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 Yes, okay. All right, very good. So I agree with you 100%. Then, anything else? 1 minute. Reading more, one who listens to what? Okay. So being a good listener, being a good observer, and reading, and so one who thinks critically. But is it mandatory to think critically in order to write? Without thinking critically, also we can write certain things. We can bring out certain products, certain articles. Yes. Any other pointers? Any other pointers? Creativity. How does creativity come? Imagination. So, is it possible for us to improve our creativity? Because without creativity, there is absolutely no writing involved. Is it possible to improve creativity? Okay, again, we are detracting a little bit. Anyway, that's a very good point. Now I would like to concentrate on just one point, the initial point necessary for you to become good writers. The very first point is the point mentioned by both of you, reading. So just everyone knows, hey, how are you supposed to become good in English? You read. Read what? Magazine, newspapers, where's the microphone? Please, use the microphone for the benefit of the audience. Switch it on.
Reading almost all the articles, like newspaper, starting from newspaper, magazines, novels, short stories. Nowadays we tend to have only we spend only a few minutes to read.
Yes.
So we can read short stories instead of going for novels. Novels in detail. And short stories, the vocabulary development. And daily newspapers really enrich your knowledge to provoke your writing skill.
Okay, fine. So reading makes us do all these things, but let's be practical. Now, let's imagine I'm in my college. Okay, I can only imagine. Okay, so let's say I'm studying in St. Joseph's, and I come from a rural background, and I do not have, I don't understand English. I don't understand when teachers teach something in English, and when I read something in English, or when I try to read, I'm not able to read. I'm in such a pathetic situation, but because of the good marks that I scored in my 12th standard, I secured a seat here, and I'm here. But so, how do I improve? As you said, if I take a novel, I can't certainly understand. If I take a short story book, no way possible. And I can't read newspapers. I can only look at images in newspapers, and even the captions given below, I'm not able to understand. If that be the case, how can I start my tenure as a reader?
Reading skill is.
Okay. Mike, please.
Whichever interest, for example, if a student is interested in sports, he can start reading that so that he can easily get
Very
whatever
good.
he
Yes,
could able
that's one point. Okay. For your students, I'm sure you'll meet such students. Again, this applies for us as well. Yes, ma'am.
So I have to search the meaning first in the dictionary. Then with that meaning, I have to, with my language, I have to make sentence. So that will help us in increasing my ken towards English, so that when another word is coming, so I have to search for it. I have to construct a sentence, and I have to apply that particular vocabulary whenever that situation is coming. Okay. So in that way, we can improve.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So this was the final point that I was going to talk about. So now ma'am has come up with this point. Thank you, ma'am. I'll again touch upon this with a little bit of additional information. So we will be in the same stage sometimes without reading, probably. Just because we are teachers, it doesn't mean that we read and that we write perfectly. Everybody has a different set of skill set. So our skills might be concentrated on some other areas. But here, you tell your students, you encourage students who are there in your class who find it difficult to improve their English speaking and writing skills to concentrate on areas that they love. For example, usually boys here, I think I saw Overdrive magazine or Core magazine. Some magazine is there. I just saw it now. Okay. So likewise, ask students to go to the library, get hold of magazines that cater to their interests. And everybody, maybe except for a small percentage, everybody watches movies. And everybody loves fashion. There are certain newspapers in English that concentrate on the gala parties that happen somewhere. It happened here, this happened here, this person came, that person came. Everybody now watches that on reels. Instead of watching that on reels, you can ask them to read about it. When they are interested, when they keep reading, it'll strike a chord. And I'm not interested in anything, but I want to improve my language skills. The best way to start is to start with comics. The best way is to start with comics. And in case you want to improve your language skills and you still haven't got into the reading part, start with comics. Okay? For I'm an advanced reader. I have never read comics, but I would like to explore comics. Yes, there is Asterix and Obelix series. That's a wonderful one. And another thing is Tintin. Many of you would have watched Tintin movies. There are more than 36 Tintin comics available. You can try that. And there are this manga comics available using Japan as a background. So you try that. These are certain things, because that will involve quite a lot of samurai, sword fight and all these things, and people who are interested in that will just about plunge in, and it will be difficult for you to separate them from those books afterward. So these are certain things. Now, another thing, ma'am said one thing about when you come across a word, you get the meaning and then write down the meaning, apply that meaning somewhere else. If you don't apply, you will lose. But there is also one small danger here. One wrong concept that was told when I was a school student. Many of my teachers used to tell me, you take a dictionary, learn 5 words, okay, and know the meanings, learn the meanings, write them down in your words, in your notebook, then memorize them, it'll be there forever. I tried that, but then after coming to probably the 7th day or the 8th day, I forgot what I wrote on the first day. There's no point in that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Practically speaking, if you want to improve your English language skills in terms of enriching your vocabulary, what you must do is, you should read like a madman or a madwoman. You should read like you are addicted to reading. And how can you be addicted to reading? Choose books of your choice, of your interest and your level. Can you please give me your notebook? When you choose a book, when you want, let's say, always try a second-hand bookstore. That's sort of economic. It will also help the guy who's your purse will still be fat. Okay, so when you choose a book, first go, Anna, do you have this English novels? And without any interest, he'll show you some site where everything will be dust filled. Fast moving. So you pick all those things, and in that you will have some interest. Now, many of you told me about your movies. I told you to write a point, right? That is actually a point of interest in your life. It could be philosophy, it could be comedy, it could be societal issue. If you're interested in watching a movie on that line, you would obviously be interested in reading a book about the same thing. 99% of the time it works like that. So try that. For me, I just about love detective fiction and crime. Most of my writings will be on crime, societal issues, and on detective fiction. My favorite fictional character is Sherlock Holmes. Okay, and I always try to pit these two people. One is Hercule Poirot, created by Agatha Christie, and here is Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I always try to find out which would be better. Somehow, although how many of you have watched at least one movie of Hercule Poirot? You haven't. Okay, try that, okay? He's a Belgian guy, completely opposite to Sherlock Holmes. He'll be just short. His egg will be like, have you watched this Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall? The same sort of egg on a guy with big whiskers and extremely good at solving all those things. But I like Sherlock Holmes because of his height, his deerstalker hat, his style, his boxing style, I watched Sherlock Holmes movies only almost 10-15 years back. Till then, I was I could tell every sentence, every word from all his books. In my UG, I did my project on that, on Sherlock Holmes' character. So like this, whatever you're interested in, whichever area you're interested in, try reading that adala something will touch you. And when that something touches you, you have to keep experimenting with different books. You have to keep experimenting. And when that something touches you, you will become one with that person and you will travel into that world. You love maybe fantasy? Try, I'm sure, Harry Potter, many of you would have watched. And The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. The Chronicles of Narnia. And The Lord of the Rings. Oh my God. Such a big book. You try Lord of the Rings. You try Hobbit. If you're a lover of fantasy, you can never ever step out of that. Okay? So like that. So when I told you, when you go to that second-hand bookshop, you take the book, you found out, okay, this is a detective fiction. Let me try if I like this. And you take and you turn the book to the back side. And a description of the author or a description of the story will be given at the back. That has a special name. Does anybody happen to know that? The description of the story or what the story is would be given at the back of the book. No, not that. That's genre. It's not genre, it's genre. About the story, about the book, that will be given. I think I can give cash prize for this. Huh? Not epilogue. Epilogue will be given inside the book at the back. Prologue would be given at the beginning of the book. Cash prize, cash prize. You can't use mobile phones here, right? Yes, so you can't check now. Tell me. Starting, there's only one word. I can give you the starting letter, B. No, bibliography, you're too much into research. Yes. Okay. No, it's a single word, starts with B and ends with B. Cash price, 500 rupees. No, you can't use your mobile. You can't use your mobile. 500 rupees, guys. Come on. Starts with B, ends with B. It's not book. Okay, it's called blurb. Oh, okay. But நான் சொல்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி சொல்லிருக்கலாம்ல. BLURB. Note down the word blurb. Okay? Yes. Thank you. So, ma'am, when you go to a second-hand book, or when you want to buy a book, you take the book, you look at the back cover outside. A description of the story will be given in a nutshell. So there is a special name for that. It is called the blurb. Okay. So not knowing blurb has set you back by 500 rupees. You just lost 500 rupees. And remember, reading always pays you well. And writing pays you even more. Look at me, all the way from Tirunelveli. Okay? So get into writing, get into this reading. As I told you, when you read the blurb, you will understand what the story is about. Let's say, right now I have a novel with me. It's there in the room. It's about top executives, top American executives in the country of Iran during the 1970s. They were imprisoned by the Iranian authorities. The country of Iran, imprisoned them. It's true incident. The American government could not get them out. So what the company owner in America did was he assembled a team clandestinely, secretly, in secret, and he sent Green Beret, Marine and other guys. He sent them in, he broke them out and he brought them. I looked at the blurb. I love all these kind of stories. Oh my God, getting into a country secretly, breaking them out of jail and bringing them out. Just how terrifically interesting it would be, I thought. I took the book. Suppose I read something like, so two people, husband and wife, they are leading a normal life. Then some sort of turbulence comes in and then they try to tackle everything. Okay, this will be very much useful for people who are undergoing the same sort of problem. They will, they managed to come out. Oh my God, right now my wife is still shouting at me. I just cut the phone. Let me try to find out if this will be useful. So for each and every person, a different incident will touch your heart. So based on that, that's the first step in choosing the book. Does this story or will this story interest me or not? Suppose it is interesting enough, you turn the pages of the book randomly. just give it a glance. Some authors' writings would be high above your head. You will not be able to understand. Keep the book there. That is not for you. Go through the books. Sift through the books. You will come across some book that you will be able to understand. I told you about the first kind of book. That kind of book, when you read the first paragraph, in a paragraph containing probably 100 words, you will understand only 20 words. What is the point of taking that book? You will lose interest in reading. This is how many people lose interest in reading. In a single page or in a single chapter, there should be 2 or 3 words that are new for you, or probably something that you can't understand. So what must you do? Let's say I read one chapter. There's one word that I don't understand. What should I do? Very good. Contextual meaning. I'm not able to understand the meaning, but when I read this in context, I can make a guess, an educated guess. Okay, this should be the meaning. Many a time when you students, if you are appearing for your GRE, when you appear for GRE in the vocabulary section, many a time you will not know the words, but you will be able to understand whether it is a positive sounding word or a negative sounding word. So if you will know, okay, this sentence needs a negative answer. I don't understand the meaning of any words. All the 4 words, I don't understand the meaning, but there are 3 words that are positive sounding. So these 3 can't be the answer. This is a negative sounding word. This should be the answer. It's an educated guess. You don't know, but you're making an educated guess. Like this, you can do this while reading as well. Trust me, when you do this, before you complete the book, you will come across the same word, maybe not before completing the book, maybe before completing 5 books or 6 books, you will come across the same word 5, 6 times. And at that time, your assumption will become a certainty. Yes, I thought that. In that context, it came here. Now, in this context, it is here. This context is there. So, this must be the meaning. You will get a certainty. At that time, when you open the dictionary, 100% of the time, what you thought was the meaning would be the meaning. And after that, you won't forget that word when you start implementing those words. This is how you enrich your vocabulary. This is how you enrich your vocabulary. But again, this will not work out if you're preparing for a competitive examinations. That needs a different outset. But for people like us, in the long run, in the life of learning, these are methods that we can use to enrich our vocabulary. And then so you come across, you choose books like that, then you start reading. Without using these 2 techniques, without choosing books from your interested area, and without checking the language level of the book, it would be pointless and fruitless to buy. If you buy 10 books, probably there would be only 1 or 2 books that would be to your capacity. Okay? So, what is the first thing that we saw in terms of writing a story? You all learned one thing about you. What was that? What was the first answer? What is the first word that you have written? Your area of interest. Now you know your area of interest. Now your mind would be revolting probably for some people. Oh my God, this is not my area of interest. I actually liked the movie not because of the story, but because of the way it was handled. Because of the crisp editing, or because of the way it was shot, whatever. So now you know why you liked that movie. So then let your mind again revolve. You come up, you find out some story that you liked for the sake of the story. Which movie did you like because of the storyline? Which novel did you like because of the storyline? Have you guys, I think we have around 6 minutes. We'll complete this, then workshop will continue in the afternoon. Before that, I would like to tell you one very short story. I'll tell you why. I'll ask you guys the question. You give me your answer. There was this. There are many stories that can be said like this. I would like to tell just one story. There was a king. You might know. There was a king who was a very barbaric king,
Okay? He was a barbarian, and his country was filled with barbarians, and he had a beautiful daughter. And whenever someone did something wrong, what he would do is he would throw them into an arena filled with wild animals, and the wild animals will come and tear the people to pieces, and everyone in the crowd will laugh. It was something like what happened in ancient Rome during the time of gladiators and all. And this king had a beautiful daughter. She was extremely fair, extremely lovely, and as fate would have it, she happened to fall in love with a common man in the same kingdom. Okay? And it was brought to the notice of the king, and he said, "Oh, is that so? This is not nice, but I'll have to handle this very carefully because my daughter is also deeply in love with the man." So he tried to make them come apart, but they wouldn't do. They said, "No, we are in love with each other." So what the king said was, "I'll do one thing. Tomorrow, you'll be killed." That's what he said. And he came up with a new methodology. He said, "Tomorrow, there will be 2 cages, completely closed cages, placed right in the middle of the ground. And you, man, you have to come, open any one of the doors. You can open only one door. One door, within one cage, there will be a tiger. So it will be a starving tiger. So once he opens it, the tiger would probably kill him, or most certainly kill him. The other door would open to reveal another young girl. If he opened the door of that young girl, he would have to marry that girl." So this was the idea that the king came up with. So either way, that man is not going to marry his daughter. He would be killed physically or mentally. And so he was jailed, and because she was the king's daughter, she had some sort of influence over the gods. So she went in, she talked to the gods, and then she came back again. And she met him, and she said, "Don't worry, wait for my signal tomorrow," she said. He said, okay, I'll wait for your signal." And then the next day, as usual, the king, the queen, the princess, and all the important ministers were seated there. And the man came, and he bowed down. And at that time, the king said, "Yes, you can go and open any one of the doors." At that time, the princess, with the tip of her finger, she just pointed right like this. Okay? And the man was very confident. So he quickly went and opened the right door. What came out? How? Microphone, please. You can all have your say. Yes.
She could have influenced those men and poisoned the tiger, or something like that could have happened.
Okay. You can become a good story writer. Okay. Anybody else? Any other girls? You're welcome to answer if you want. What, ma'am? Yes. So ma'am says opposite of what you said. She might have fed the tiger like it's oh my God, just now I had 1 ton of biryani. Why are you bringing this skinny guy? Okay, could have happened. Then
the tiger would have died. The tiger would have been dead by the starvings.
Oh, so when he opened, the tiger might have been dead. Okay, that's a new thought. I've never heard this. Okay, yes. Anybody else? No magic. But other influences, yes, as you said, she might have. But certainly this was there. One had a lady, one had a tiger, and a live tiger, and a live lady. Yes. No, if it had been a pet tiger, then she probably would not allow it to be starved. So this was the king's tiger, meant for killing people. It was used to that ritual. Yes.
Maybe she doesn't want him to marry another girl.
Okay.
Because of possessiveness.
do women actually think like that? They'll think.
Yeah, very sure, very
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. If only I had told this, you would have been like, hey, we are for feminism. How dare you say that? Okay, it is possible. Again, men also think like this, right? Love is stronger than. So what do you think could have happened, ma'am?
He will handle that tiger.
So that guy, because his love was strong, he would have handled the tiger, probably killed the tiger, like how gladiators usually do, and then he would have come out victorious. Okay.
Since she is from barbaric king, probably she will also be a barbaric. So
She was barbaric. She was barbaric. Yes.
So probably tiger.
Probably tiger. Okay.
And the man would have been killed.
Okay. The man would have been killed. Okay. Any other answers? Okay. In both the things. Okay. When she. Okay. Yeah. Why do you think she gave the signal? Okay. 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 The entire world that has read this story is still divided because the author left the ending open-ended. So which came out, the lady or the tiger? It is up to you to interpret the story. If you think, yes, she was barbaric, and she might have thought, why the man that I am not able to marry should not marry anybody else, so let him die. All the love that he has, let it be for me alone. That could have happened. Or even while going on a procession with my father or with my future husband who will be the king of this country, let me at least watch my ex-love work somewhere, look at me, or maybe I can just wink at him, or let me just at least live in the knowledge that he is alive and sound. That also could have happened. It's up to you to interpret. And why do you think I like this story? This was the very first story that made me break my head for so many days. Even sometimes when I teach this to my students, at one particular year when I teach this, I'll be very convinced that it would be the tiger that would have come out. After 2 or 3 years, when it came in the same syllabus, and when I taught the same story, I'll be, no. It was not the tiger, it was the lady who came out, because she couldn't bear that. The title itself is The Lady or the Tiger. Please read this when you have time, and you will love the story to bits. Okay. So now, today afternoon, we'll have a session on using artificial intelligence to write. But before that, I will make you write small, paragraphs or stories, whatever. So be prepared to write, and if possible, we'll do some group activities or pairing activities, and then we'll go. I'll be using, we'll be having a live session as well, where, have you brought laptops? No, right? But anyway, I'll use the laptop and I'll teach you. You can note down all the things which will help you. And you've been an amazing audience. Let's continue in the afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your wonderful session, sir. It was really interesting and lively. We would love to listen to you even after having our lunch. So we shall part for lunch now. Thank you all.
Shall we start? Okay, fine. So, have you made up your mind? The lady or the tiger? The lady. Okay. So the ladies are convinced that it is a lady that came out. Okay, fine. So I leave it up to you. Now, um, there are certain ways in which you can find another thing. You remember the very first activity we did today? In the morning, I asked all of you about a movie that impacted you, and you all gave a reason. You all first gave me the name of the movie, and then you said, this was the reason this movie made a big impact in my life. Now, there is also another way to find out if if you're unsure about your area of interest, there is that's one thing that will actually help. So I'm going to narrate something. I want you to write it down. It is not something very lengthy. It's going to be short, but I would like you to write it down. I'm going to give you a prompt. Okay? It was dark. It was dark. Full stop. The boy ran fast. The boy ran fast. Drenched his shirt. Sweat drenched his shirt. Ducking behind a tree. Ducking behind a tree. Comma. He took hold of his knees. Took hold of his knees. He took hold of his knees and panted for breath. And panted for breath. Full stop. He also listened. He also listened for other sounds. He also listened for other sounds. Full stop. Just when he thought, just when he thought, just when he thought that there was no sound, just when he thought that there was no sound, comma, he heard something that made his heart stop for a second. He heard something that made his heart stop for a second. Full stop. Screaming wildly, comma, he turned. You can complete this story using another 50 or 100 words. Complete the story in another 50 or 100 words, preferably 50. The story can take any turn. It could go into any genre. You can introduce anyone, you can kill anyone. The time given to you is 3 minutes. Quick. 2 more minutes. If anyone has completed, you can just raise your hands so that I'll know. One more minute. Yes, have you completed? Good, fine. Um, can you please come here and read the story? Yes. I'm not going to ask every one of you to come and read. It's impossible. Just we'll have a few samples. Please step here. Yes.
Hello everyone. It was dark. The boy ran fast. Sweat drenched his t-shirt. Ducking behind a tree, he took hold of his knees and panted for breath. He also listened for another sound. Just when he thought that there was no sound, he heard something that made his heart stop for a second. Screaming wildly, hereafter this is my story then. Oh. Screaming wildly, he turned into a werewolf. Suddenly he saw his girlfriend, whom he missed in the middle of the forest. Since he is a werewolf, he didn't recognize her as his girlfriend. Suddenly she was bitten by him. Then he killed her. After transition into a human being, he felt very bad that his wolf nature killing his lovable ones. He left the place and ran into jungle. He decides to stay away from his real world and thought that he deserved to be in forest as he is a wolf nature.
Thank you, thank you. So, very good. Yes, please clap. Why did you use this fantasy element in this story? Where is that microphone? Yes.
Actually, I'm more into that supernatural elements.
Okay.
So recently, I started watching Vampire Diaries, and last week I started watching Shadowhunters also. So it's all about werewolf, vampires, and something kind of that. So I started relating this story with that.
Fine. So I suggest that you can probably, if you're really hooked into this, you can start reading books on these series, this genre. Is anybody else willing to come and have a read? Yes, ma'am. Can you please hand over the mic to her? Yes. It's your wish. If you want, you can come here or you can sit there and read.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so the story starts. It was dark. The boy ran fast. Sweat drenched his shirt. Ducking behind the tree, he took hold of his knees and panted for breath. He also listened for other sound. Just when he thought that there was no sound, he heard something that made his heart stop for a second and screamed wildly. He turned and saw a dog following him. After he sees the dog, he recalled that what made him to run into the dark. Actually, he slipped from his routine path to home. At last, the dog helped him to reach the home safely.
Okay. Thank you very much. So why did you take this path? Any influence from anything? You just thought of this and very good. Thank you. So please clap. Yes, anybody else? So there's chance for one more person to. Yes, please. Would you like to come here and read? Okay, fine.
It was dark. The boy ran fast. Sweat drenched his shirt. Ducking behind a tree, he took hold of his knees and panted for breath. He also listened for other sounds. Just when he thought that there was no other sound, he heard something that made his heart stop for a second. Screaming wildly, he turned and bolted out of the ever so terrifying forest. Just as he was about to exit, he was pounced by the entity that stalked him. It was a bear, a huge brown bear. The look of sheer terror took over his face.
Wonderful. So you've still left the story open-ended. Okay, great. And yes, please. Inclusion of fantasy elements and big, bad, powerful, terrifying animals such as a bear. Terrifying. Truly remarkable. Yes. Would you like to come here and read? Okay. You can probably introduce yourself before you speak, your name and the class that you study in. Yes. Come step here, please. Okay.
Hi everyone, I am Deekshi from Biotech. It was dark. The boy ran fast. Sweat drenched his shirt. Ducking behind a tree, he took hold of his knees and panted for a breath. He also listened for other sounds. Just when he thought there was no sound, he heard something that made his heart stop for a second. Screaming wildly, he turned around to see a slender figure holding axe with blood dripping from its sharp blades. He knew his time has come. He started repenting silently as he held his breath, waiting for Grim Reaper from the underworld has come to take his life.
Wonderful. So, thank you. You can keep the microphone there. So here we have select people from this audience who have managed to go into the supernatural world, then talk about real-time animals, powerful animals coming and trying to threaten or take away people's lives, and then we have the Grim Reaper, a person that nobody can actually evade. So beautiful, beautiful. Now, from all these things, if now it might not be possible, if you start writing like this every day, or let's say once every week, or once every month might be stretching it a bit far, maybe once a week, or at least twice a week, or every day, which would be preferable, you and the others will be able to notice your signature in your writing. They will be able to notice your signature in your writings. Let's again take the case of movie directors. Sometimes, without even knowing who the director is, when you watch a movie, you will be forced to ask, was this movie directed by this person or that person? Why? The signature of that director is present in the vein of the movie, in the run of the movie, or in the videography, or editing, or the storyline, or the characterization. Something in it screams wildly at you saying, this is the creation of this person. So the very first thing that you have to do before you start practicing artificial intelligence in your writing is to use the natural intelligence given by God and start writing. Using artificial intelligence without first using your own intelligence is like killing an unborn child, a mother killing an unborn child inside her womb and then adopting a child.
You are gifted with intelligence that is unparalleled. Use that first, and use artificial intelligence to strengthen your portfolio, to strengthen your writings, to enrich your writing, to attract audiences. If you use only artificial intelligence, you will not be able to attract people. And why should you attract people? Why are you writing, first of all? To give vent to your feelings, to express yourself, to tell the world your opinion, your ideas. Your ideas could transform the world. But unless you find your signature in your writing, people will not be able to follow you. When you use only artificial intelligence, you will not be genuine. You will not be real. There will be no life in your writing. I remember in the early 90s and the late 90s as well, when I was a kid, I used to go with my father. At that time, we did not have a landline telephone in our house. So he used to go to some telephone booth. At those days, telephone booths were very popular. And he used to go there, and he used to sit, and he used to tell the telephone operator the number. He used to tell number after number, and the guy will type, he'll talk, then he'll tell everything from memory. And now my father, he has crossed 70 years of age. And he is so tech savvy now, always using mobiles, every time hanging around with his mobile phone. That day he called me. I was standing, I was standing in the garden, and he was standing at the front, and he said suddenly a guy came and he asked for something, and he, "Hey, oh number kekranga, number solle." The man who used to tell so many phone numbers from his memory, because of his reliance on artificial intelligence, blunted that part of intelligence. So remember, without using artificial intelligence, you cannot survive. That is also very much true. And if you want to stand out from the rest of the crowd, start writing and include artificial intelligence. So how can we include artificial intelligence? So first of all, as I told you, make it a point to write maybe every day. Let the story that all of you wrote now, that part contained probably 50 words. None of you wrote really lengthy stories because I didn't give you enough time. So think and find out if you can write a 50-word story once a week or once a day. It can be on any topic. When you start writing, whatever is comfortable for you, whichever area is comfortable for you will automatically sneak inside your writing. And you will start writing about that regularly. And when you start doing that, your signature will be evident. And keep that as your status. People will follow you. They will know, okay, if I go and check his profile, he would have written something like this. She would have written something like this. Okay? And using that, using that, you can empower yourselves. Now first thing that I would like you guys to note down is this one, www.deepl.com. Note this down. I'll show you some examples. This would be comfortable for people who are not very much comfortable with, let's say, the standard of your words. Okay? Now, can I have some sample sentence from the audience? Some ordinary sentence? Anyone? Or let me type. Wait.
So if I just type like this, the man and the woman went to the cinema theater separately. Here, it comes up with some alternatives. The man and the woman went to the cinema separately from each other. The man and the woman entered the cinema separately. The man and the woman went separately to the cinema. Of these three alternatives, is there any alternative answer that is actually not, that does not convey the meaning that is conveyed in the original sentence? The original sentence is there within the box. The man and the woman went to the cinema theater separately. So what is the meaning? The man went to the cinema theater separately. The woman also, she went. They both went separately. That is the meaning. Now, the three alternatives given there, do they convey the same meaning? Yes or no? Yes? Are you very sure? No. Very good. So which sentence doesn't convey that meaning? The first one. See, okay, so the first one, let it be on hold. The second one, the man and the woman entered the cinema separately. Here, of course, it says went to the cinema, this entered the cinema, same thing. But it also says they went separately. So the meaning is the same. Third sentence, the man and the woman went separately to the cinema. The same word has been, the sentence has been reworded. So this also has the same meaning. What about the first one? The man and the woman went to the cinema separately from each other. What does that mean? While you prepare for GMAT examinations, in sentence correction, usually, sometimes everything, all the options given there will be grammatically correct. It will have the same meaning. But some sentences will be too lengthy, too wordy, unnecessary wordy. So those sentences would be, those options would be cut down. Here, the man and the woman went to the cinema separately from each other. From each, separately itself says separately. From each other is not necessary. Even if from each other comes, it gives another meaning. The man and the woman went to the cinema not separately from the crowd, but separately from each other. So that means that they could have gone in with somebody else. So different interpretations come in. The reason I gave this simple sentence is, when you use artificial intelligence, you have to remember exactly why you are using a particular sentence. What is your objective? Who is your intended audience? And which sentence would they understand? If you don't have that clarity, please do not use artificial intelligence. Because if I come and speak to you now, as I would probably speak to my daughter when I tell her a story, you would not find this enjoyable. I would be giving different sounds and I'll be giving expressions that you might find, what is this guy? Why has he come all the way from Tirunelveli to make fun of us? That's what you'll think. I can't use the language that I use here in front of my daughter. Artificial intelligence, it is artificial. It cannot derive, it cannot understand who is it that you're actually trying to give an answer or a material. You have to specify that clearly, but in this it can't be specified. And here, I want you to note another thing. At the right side, the mode given is rewrite. So you can also change the mode. Sometimes, see here, it's the mode given is rewrite. Now here, there is another mode called corrections only. Okay, so here, what I'm going to do is, I'll type something. I'm going to type something with errors. So we'll see if it is able to find and make corrections. So the man and the women went on the theater together.
erroneously written, and it has made the change. The man and the women went to the theater together. Went to. The preposition used should be to. And theater, the spelling, you need not worry about the spelling. So if there is a person in your class, or if you come across any other person who wants to who has difficulty in finding out whether the article that he or she has written has errors or not, they can probably use this to make corrections. Again, everything, every scientific information, innovation can be used both in the right way and the wrong way. So unless, again, I keep repeating this, unless you solidify your intelligence first, unless you strengthen your intelligence first, no point in going into this artificial intelligence. One day or the other, you will be caught unawares and you will be made a laughing stock in front of the whole world. So don't use artificial intelligence first before finding out who you're going to use this for, why you're using this, and how you're going to use this. Okay, so this is one thing, and here again you can set a writing style that is simple, business, academic, technical, and casual. Okay, so you decide how you are going to use this. And the another one thing that I would like to use is, and most of the students have already started using artificial intelligence to submit their assignments and stuff. If you are familiar with reading, if you are a regular reader, and if you give attention to the writings of your students, you will know exactly, as soon as you see an artificial intelligence derived induced writing, you should be able to spot it out immediately. Okay, so if you can't do that, then you will have to strengthen yourself a little bit more. That means you still have more reading to do, and you still have more exploration to do in terms of finding out how people do this. And the next one that I would like you to use is scribber.com. So this is another wonderful stuff that you can use, especially people who are going into research, who are doing their research, can, after writing their drafts, they can use this to proofread and do that. And again, some of you, usually in arts and science colleges, the practice of giving essays to students is still prevalent. So students expect the staff members to give them essays on whatever lessons that have been taught. So when that happens, if you write an essay on your own, you can check that for errors and stuff, and then you can give that confidently to your students. So here, the first one good thing that can be used is this. There is this thing called summarizer. So click summarizer, this comes. So now this will be very much useful. Even students, if you're not able to understand an entire lesson, suppose you come across a lesson, or even staff members, when you have to read quite a lot of material before you start teaching, if you have all those words, you can just note it down, and you can paste this there. Now I'll just select something so that we can use this as an example. So I'm going to take one paragraph from this. I can just give, summarize, and before I give that, I can decide if I want to make it short or long. But since this is already a small paragraph, it has just made a decision on its own. So first read what is given on the left side, then you read what is given the right, and if you observe closely, you will see that there is the third line given at the left that has been marked in blue. So that means the software has identified that as the key sentence of this paragraph. So the whatever summary has been made will be based on what has been underlined in blue. Okay, and then here you can also, if you click this, it will come in bullet points. Yes, this will be very ideal for PPT. And again, for PPT also we have so many different, you can just give it and it will create PPT on its own. That also I'll share at the end. So this is one thing, especially when we have to, this will be useful for technical English and also for engineering students when they study their own subjects. You can, yes, when things are lengthy, if they have the soft copy, they can just copy that and paste it and it will give the summary in just seconds. It will be very easy, especially for revising before going into their examinations, very useful. And then we have this grammar checker. Many students, especially so in Chennai, they have they don't have fear of speaking in front of a crowd. They are very confident. They speak confidently, but unfortunately, many of them, not only in Chennai, usually in cities, many of them they do have grammatical mistakes when they speak, and some, although they don't have mistakes while they speak, while writing, this is common across the world. Many people who speak beautifully cannot write so in English, and they make mistakes. So spelling mistakes and grammatically incorrect syntaxes, construction of sentences, this happens. So for that, this would be ideal, free grammar checker. Can any of you give me a sample sentence? Okay, so now this is riddled with mistakes. So it shows, before you fix all errors, you can look down and see what the errors are. The long boat glides into the harbor. So this harbor, you can omit, it is about the spelling. The boys looked at the eating gulls. The girls, again spelling. The man's, what should it be? It should be the men on the wharf, WHARF. Then if it is men, it should be look. But there is something that has not been fixed. Can any of you tell me that? This is one very good reason why you can't trust artificial intelligence blindly. Find out. There is one big important error that the software has failed to fix. Punctuation, okay. But punctuation, I think everything is fine here. Maybe we should go in for this cash incentive sort of thing now. Yes, even if you are doubtful, please tell that. You may be right. Where's that microphone? You want to say something? Yeah, I thought you raised your hands. You use the microphone.
I think it's a long boat glides into the harbor. That's wrong, I feel like.
Okay, so what do you think could be right?
Would it be enters?
Enters, okay,
Or,
okay.
moves?
You're so near yet so far. No. No. See, actually, it should be longboat is actually a single word, but here it has a different meaning. The boat that is long, that is the meaning that is intended here. So that's not the issue. I'm talking about the grammar part. Grammar, yes. So this is all about grammatical errors. No problem. You made a good try. What's your name?
Jerusha.
Jerusha. Good, Jerusha. The girl eats very good. But it's actually, if it is a girl, it should be eat. But here it's girls. So the spelling is wantonly written wrong. But what you say is right. Okay. Did you raise your hand? Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I tell you this, you will be able to find out. Okay. And I noticed this when you all wrote something and when you spoke something, when you narrated stories and stuff. I noticed something that was prevalent in some of your writings and your speeches. When you write something, if you start in the past tense, you should continue in the past tense. If you start in the present tense, it should continue in the present tense. And when you start in the present, when you narrate something in the present, if there is a necessity for you to move to the past because you're talking about something in the past, you can go. Otherwise, no shifting back and forth between the present tense and the past tense. Now you should have found out. Yes, the long boat glides into the harbor. What tense is it in? Present. The boys looked past. The girls eat. Present. The man on the wharf looks down. Present. So here, so much of difference between shifting between the present and the past, shifting between the present and the past. The reader is confused. What is the objective of the writer? Does he want to tell this, or does she want? Is she telling this in the present tense or the past tense? Doubtful. And Scriber is a very reputed software. And why hasn't that fixed it? Another good reason why you must rely first on your mind. Maybe we'll see fix all errors, we'll see if it fixes. Okay? If it fixes, great. If it doesn't fix, that is also great because you have learnt a lesson. It hasn't fixed. So remember, don't take artificial intelligence for granted. Don't take it just for its face value.
people will start questioning your intelligence, and you yourself will start questioning your intelligence later on. Okay? And but these are ways that you can improve. And again, most of the artificial intelligence softwares, they are in the beta stages. Okay? So they are developing, they are improving with time. So as the days go by, things will get better and better, but you have to be very and hold on. And this is something that will be a boon to people who are doing the research, or for writing a paper, or for writing a thesis. Paraphrasing tool. And don't plagiarize. Please don't plagiarize. You know what plagiarism is, students? Yeah, not copying something and not giving the due credit to that person. You're always allowed to copy, but you should tell who wrote that first. You should cite. You should tell people, yeah, this idea or this sentence, this word, it was used by that person there and here. So I'm using that to justify my point. It is always acceptable. That is research. So you go and try to find out, let's say you are in support of pink buildings, pink interiors. So you want to find out where it is. So you go around the world, you call all your friends and say, I want to know where pink buildings are, pink interiors are. So one of your friends says, yes, I study in St. Joseph's College of Engineering, and there in a hall we have pink interiors. And I have actually written a paper on that. You mentioned that. Then you use that and you say, no, my friend told this, or that person told this. This is just an example. And in paraphrasing tool, the same paragraph, so it shows the number of words, then I give paraphrase. So whatever has been changed will be given in a different color. So you can note this down. Here, the mode that I have selected is standard. So if I want to increase my standard, the level of my paraphrased work, I can just click on fluency, and it comes like this. And staff members should be extremely careful when your students come and present their assignments. You should be extremely careful. You should know exactly the ability of your students. And since they are under so much of pressure to complete various assignments and stuff, they might invariably go into such stuff. But when you look at this, there would be some telltale sign languages, some unavoidable indicators that will tell you that students have used bots. And not only students, researchers, PhD researchers, they also use this. They use this quite a lot. And the sad part is, many of them, they don't give credit to the people who wrote this initially. So if we avoid all these malpractices, and if we first use our intelligence and use artificial intelligence to strengthen our intelligence, that would be great. Maybe some of your writings might be simple. It might be straightforward. So you can write, then you can use that, and you can paraphrase, and you can see if what has been paraphrased is better than yours. Again, you should go. Sometimes softwares will just randomly pull words with similar meaning, but that might not fit in your arena. The jargon used by the software will not be a jargon used in your field. So in that case, you will have to manually take it out. So these are certain things that I want you to keep on your mind. And the last one that we are going to see is, this is something that you would have seen ad usually Grammarly. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. Okay, there are so many softwares available. So you can experiment, you can explore, and I won't say this is good, this is bad, or anything of that sort. Everything has to be explored and tested, and everything has to be used with integrity. And take everything with a pinch of salt. Don't take anything for granted. So here in Grammarly, there is something that there are again many categories. There is something that again here also we have paraphrasing, cover letter. Then if when students, especially when they want to create a resume for them, when they feed in all their details, it will come back with beautiful depictions of their strengths and stuff. But again, they should be able to find out which would be acceptable in today's scenario and prepare accordingly. Instagram caption. Okay, so the world knows that Instagram is something without which people might not be able to survive nowadays, at least for the next 10 years. So everybody, almost everyone uses Instagram. Even if they don't post something, they just come, follow people, see who is doing what and this and that. In case you have a penchant for taking beautiful photographs, but you do not know how to use proper captions, or remember, you might suddenly notice, how did this guy come up with such a beautiful caption? Namma kuda thana padicha. You know the answer now, okay? So, and personally, see, I write regularly on LinkedIn. I write short stories. I have written close to 47 short stories on LinkedIn. All the stories would be like 1 minute or 2 minute reads. Okay, so I'm writing them mainly for the corporate sector. So they'll come, they'll read that and go. And I've also created 2 characters. One more character is on the way. There's a character called Idiom Tata. Okay, Idiom Tata. So this Idiom Tata, what he'll do is he will teach idioms. When I say he will teach idioms, I teach idioms through that Idiom Tata. So as soon as people say Idiom Tata, they'll remember, okay, this guy, he comes and teaches. And there is another character that I've created. It's called Vocab Wagon. So a wagon will come and stand. It'll teach vocabulary. And there's another character, I can't reveal that now, a work in progress. So that will be soon, very, very soon evident in my LinkedIn profile. In my LinkedIn profile, I see quite a lot of people writing. There are some people whom I've known personally, they don't speak English at all, or they don't speak English confidently, fluently. They make lots of mistakes even now, even today, at this very moment. But their writings on LinkedIn are super powerful. How? One is that they must be using an admin to write that, which would be paying money. And they themselves are not in a position to pay money to write that. But still they do that. So, yes, AI. Okay, and some of these people, what they do is, some people, they are super busy. They don't have time to write. They generate ideas. And they also write content using AI. And what they do is, they sit, they edit, because they know their signature in writing. So they will include that here and there. So you will never know that it was actually written using artificial intelligence. So that is the power of artificial intelligence. You can use that to hook your people in. Okay? And the last one that we see, so here, after email, Instagram, business plan, we have one more thing, this news article. This is what I was telling you guys about. So here, there is something that I want you to concentrate on. Enter target audience. This would be ideal for people who plan to write, who plan to prepare a newsletter, or who plan to write on LinkedIn or write on Facebook. If you're popular on Facebook, if you want to start writing, you can use this. But then edit using your intelligence. So here, let me type this target audience. Let me use someone from the audience. Jerusha, what is your favorite hobby, or what is your hobby? Playing the guitar. Okay, hold on. So I have typed musicians, and now I want to write an article that musicians would be interested in. Okay, this Jimi Hendrix is a guitarist, and this Kenny G is a popular sax player. So we'll see what this brings. See, you will be surprised at how intelligent sometimes artificial intelligence is. So this is just a very small example of what you can bring forth in a very short span of time. So that's all. Now it's time for you to ask questions if you do have any questions. We haven't even scratched the surface of artificial intelligence. So do you have any questions? You have? Okay, the mic is there.
Sir, this is not regarding the
Okay.
writing.
Yes, yes.
So I'm doing my research in listening skills.
Wonderful.
The thing is, I want to experiment the listening skill with AI. But the thing is, I haven't come across any of AI tools that's measuring listening skills or the metacognitions of students.
Okay.
So have you come across any other AI tools like?
No, I haven't come across, but I can certainly do a research on this, and I can share that information with you if I come across that.
Okay, sure.
Because to be frank, so far I have not used artificial intelligence in even one of my writings. Everything is from my brain. So for the sake of this seminar, as soon as sir called me, I explored artificial intelligence, and then I've come and given this seminar. So, but I will certainly work on this, and if I get this, I will share the link with Dr. Venkatesh, and he will have your registered details, so he will share that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Any other questions from anybody? And one very good platform that I've found out from my experience is for improving your writing or for being in touch with your writing, for getting a good audience for your intellect is LinkedIn. So please use linkedin.com because through linkedin.com you in on the LinkedIn platform you will not have people who are not professionals inside. So every person there would be a professional um, waiting to grow, waiting to help others. There are many people who have grown using LinkedIn and they also help other people. Many such people are there. If you go to Facebook, all other extra photos, the extra information and videos will come. Instagram, no questions asked. Okay, and Twitter, now called X, again, you find anything and everything. But on LinkedIn, you have only professionals there. So that is one of the best places for you to register. If you're doing your research, ma'am, what's your name? Ms. Shima, if you become strong in LinkedIn, if you become an active user of LinkedIn, you will be able to find people working on the same field from across the globe. Maybe from some foreign university. I'm sure people will be there. You can very easily connect with them. That will help you. So, anything else? Yes, ma'am. Some stories are 6 to 7 minutes. Most of the stories are 2 to 3 minutes. What I write is, many of the corporate people, they are under different kinds of pressure. So, in order to help them relax, let them take a break, for them to take a break and read something motivational or humorous, I write anything and everything. There's one particular story in which there will be a 125 kilo man. He wanted to reduce his weight, but he was not able to do it. So he kept trying different stuff. And one day it was told that there was an old man in the town who could help people bring down the weight. And immediately this guy, he went there and he said, oh, hi man, I would like to reduce my weight. And the man said, give me your address, he said. He got the address and he said, go to your place. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, be ready. So the next morning at 6 o'clock, the man opened the door and there was a strikingly beautiful girl standing in front of him in running suit. And the girl told him, the old man told me, if you catch me, I'm yours. And this guy, if I catch you, you're mine. Okay, then he started running after the girl. This kept happening day after day, day after day. And finally, after about 4 or 5 months, this man became very confident. Tomorrow, I'm going to catch hold of that lady. Because when he was very sure of himself, he did not run very fast to give the girl idea that he might catch. So he was wantonly going slow. Then after 2 weeks, he thought 6 months, and then after 2 weeks, I'm going to catch that girl. So the next day he opens the door. He had become very slim and fit because he had been running every day for 6 months. The next day he opened the door. There in front of him stood a very stout and fat lady. And she said, the old man told me, if I catch you, you're mine. So he started running in the opposite direction and the girl started chasing him. So this is an example of the story that I wrote. So like this, they'll spend probably 1 or 2 minutes, they'll be laughing, their mind will become free. So, and I also write a lot from Greek mythology because I love mythology and history. During the Second World War, the Japanese, they tried to invade Singapore. At that time, what happened was there was only one route available. The rest of the route was surrounded by forests. So the people, the army there was very sure that the Japanese would not be able to come in. Do you know? But the Japanese came, they conquered Singapore. Do you know how they did? They came in bicycles. And do you know what? Bicycles, forest, you might think. They tore the tires off. They rode on the rims of the bicycles. The entire Japanese army, they rode on bicycle rims. They came inside and they conquered Singapore during the Second World War. This is true. So such incidents, when you think something is impossible, the impossible happens. If you put your heart and mind and soul to something, to do something, to use artificial intelligence only to strengthen you and not to depend completely on artificial intelligence, you can do that. Put your heart, mind, and soul to it. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you then. You have been an amazing, amazing, amazing audience. Thank you very much. Sir.
Good evening to all. On behalf of St. Joseph's Group of Institution, I would like to extend the word of thanks. It gives me immense pleasure, right, to extend word of thanks. I sincerely thank our management, our beloved chairman, sir, Dr. Bob Manoharan, MA, MBA, PhD, for his support in conducting such wonderful programs. I take this opportunity to thank our managing director, Sasi Shekhar sir, and our executive director, Jessipriya ma'am, for strengthening us and supporting us in all such initiatives. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Vadisha Shagari Rao, Principal, St. Joseph's College of Engineering, for being a guiding light in all the initiatives that we undertake. I thank Dean of Academics, Dr. V. Valinayam, Dean Research, Dr. Chandrasekhar, Dean Student Affairs, Dr. V. Valinayam, for their support. I thank each and every one of the faculty who have attended today. I thank all the staff members and others who are involved in this initiative. My special thanks to all those people who have arrived today for the today workshop. We know, despite all you have stayed with us for throughout the day, we expect the same tomorrow. We can expect more number of people tomorrow, I hope. Right? We'll do it. It's going to be a complete hands-on session tomorrow. You know, Xavier sir, as I rightly put, right, he is one who could take for hours together on AI. Welcome you for the next session also, that tomorrow, right? We'll have an interesting session. Just a keynote address, then it's going to be a complete hands-on workshop tomorrow. So that'll be a great thing. Thank you all once again. Now I take this opportunity to present the honorarium to our chief guest of the day. Thanks a lot.